we are in our 8th Friday Forum. This Friday Forum series for small businesses of Rockland County is sponsored by the Workforce Development Board of Rockland County. We've been doing this, as I mentioned, for about 2 months. This started, unfortunately, during the COVID-19 pandemic. And we found a need to have a forum for small businesses to communicate their concerns over the course of many different weeks. And also, on the flip side, be able for us, as part of the Workforce Development Board, be able to provide valuable information that is up to date. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's diverging sources of information. We want to certainly make sure that the reliable information is provided to you. And that's part of this, the idea of the Small Business Friday Forums. Also sponsored by the Chamber Alliance of Rockland. That is the group of 8 different chambers of commerce all over Rockland County. The Nanuet Chamber, New City, North Rockland, Suffern, Nyack, and several others. And they've been really helpful throughout this thing. And my role through Rockland Web is really just to provide the information and hopefully not talk as much as the people that have a lot more knowledge than I do. And one of those people is on the line with us right now, the Executive Director of, sorry to put you on the spot, Debbie, but the Executive Director of the Workforce Development Board of Rockland County. So thanks for joining us today.
The Workforce Development Board of Rockland County, the executive team, and all of our board members. We want to once again thank you, Tom, for facilitating this on behalf of the businesses in Rockland. And we want to thank the Chamber Alliance of Rockland as well for posting this and sharing this important information week to week. We feel that this has been a wonderful resource for our community. And we've had a lot of wonderful feedback about the service. And we want to thank you, Tom, for all that you've done on behalf of the board. You've really been a champion and stepped up to the plate as an active member of the Workforce Development Board of Rockland County. We also want to, again, encourage everyone to continue to visit the rocklandwork.org website. It is being updated literally every single day. We are constantly having meetings with the Department of Labor and with NIATAP and with federal legislators and local resources. And we're trying to keep the business community and our clients and those that are in need of unemployment in the loop as to what is going on, what are the most available resources, benefits, grants, funding sources. And I know it's been a challenge for everybody, and we receive a lot of phone calls and we try to help as many people as we can. So staying together is the way to go, and we thank everybody for working together and helping one another during this difficult time. And again, our thanks to all of our business leaders who have joined with us to share their expertise and knowledge, and we thank everyone for today.
Thank you, Debbie. I appreciate that. Just as a side note, on the Workforce Development Board of Rockland County, and she's really championed the information that is provided onto the site. The team at the Workforce Development Board gets constant updates from Debbie from the many sources that she has, both governmentally and also local organizations. That information is provided onto various pages of the site. The most prevalent ones, the most important ones for your purposes are the COVID-19 resources for individuals page. It's located on the menu bar as well. And that's for things like unemployment assistance, stimulus checks, any sort of ways of navigating through primarily the economic portion of what we're going through, but certainly other materials as well. And then on the flip side, resources for employers, how to plan long-term, how to provision the resources that you currently have and be able to plan out your business so that it can continue to serve your local communities. So there's a wealth of knowledge on here. So please check it out at rocklandwork.org. Before I go any further, I'd like to just say a few words, and I'm not going to go too elaborately into this, but I'd like to, if I may, have a moment of silence for someone that was very loved in Rockland County, a servant of our county for many years. Mr. Paul Piparato passed away this week. It was a shock to many of us, and certainly a shock to myself, Debbie as well, and several of you I'm sure that are listening to this have either met or become acquainted with Mr. Piparato. He was really, he was one of the good guys. That's the only way that I could put it. He was very supportive of the community in general, attended a lot of our Chamber of Commerce and networking events, and always had kind things to say of everyone. And I remember one day I caught a side conversation with him that he was speaking with someone else that was really starting out in his career in government. And I didn't mean to hear this, but I did. He said, always pick up the phone. Always pick up the phone, and you will always remain as a servant of the community in government. And not that I'm involved in government or even care to be, but I like that philosophy, always being able to pick up the phone so that you can be a servant leader. And I think that's where a good part of life is, the important part. And certainly Paul had his finger on the pulse of that important part of life. So yeah, we're just going to take a few moments. And I personally think that Paul can feel the love that we have for him, and he appreciates it even now. Let's get into our topics for today. We have a small agenda, but one that I am admittedly very excited about, except for the fact that I forgot to put in next week's date for the Friday Forum. Restaurant Row, how retailers are adjusting their services to help serve their customers after COVID-19. If we go back 8 weeks, when we first started the series at the beginning of March, the pandemic was just beginning to come into play for Rockland. Certainly in more populated areas, and our county has, I believe, 330,000 people. But certainly New York City got hit harder than, numerically harder than we did. And they probably encountered it much more prevalently than we did. It started coming into play really for us toward the end of March, when we started being shelter in place, stay at home. And then businesses had to start shutting down, and here we are today. That trend is now going to start to reverse. The first of the series that we did for these Friday forums was, how are you going to adjust once COVID-19 starts to subside? And thankfully, over this past week, as I said, we're circling back, we had a few interviews with several individuals that have retail establishments in North Rockland. Now, this is just the beginning. I encourage anyone that has a storefront in Rockland County to please feel free to call in and provide information on how they are adjusting their businesses to continue to help their customers over the course of time after the COVID-19 pandemic subsides. And if time permits, we'd love to have an interview with you. At this point, as Debbie had mentioned, it's important to share as much useful information as possible. So we're going to kick it off with an interview that we conducted with Nisi Augustin. She is the owner of It's Coffee Barista, located in Stony Point, New York. I have gone there many a time. I have a specific flavor of coffee that I very much enjoy, and Nisi and Ben, her husband, create it to perfection. So without further ado, let's let's show off the interview that we had with Nisi. Just 1 minute. I'm just going to bring up my video player here onto the panel, and we'll get started. Oh, 1 moment, please. Patron of It's Coffee. A little technical difficulty. We'll start that again. Nisi, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for the opportunity. Good morning.
I'm very jealous because, and you know, I'm a patron of It's Coffee, so I have my coffee in the morning over at your facility at the moment. So I've been resorting to beet juice drinks and vegetable and everything.
Uh-huh.
It's not the same.
Oh.
It's not the same.
Well, we always appreciate your support.
Thank you. So how are you guys doing?
We're doing okay. We're doing okay. Staying positive, you know, winging with the changes like everybody else locally and, you know, and within the state or the country. So we're holding on. We're holding on strong.
I was absolutely amazed at what you did several weeks ago to get the masks out to first responders.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. We were able to coordinate about 25 different businesses that partnered up, including some of our customers who also partook in that with receiving donations and stuff like that. So far, we distributed 3,200 and we're in the process of obtaining another 500 to distribute out. We were able to tackle many of the local hospitals between Good Sam, Nyack, Helen Hayes, the nursing homes, both Pine Valley as well as Northern River View. We were able to distribute to essential businesses as well. Some of like grocery stores, 7-Eleven, both ShopRites in Stony Point and Garnerville. We also did the post office, FedEx, any of our customers that came through that were essential, Verizon, some of our local Verizon employees, anybody that we saw that was on the road, we offered and we had given before we started giving to our customers. And then it got to the point where everybody was safe. And then we decided to start distributing out to the public. So when our customers came, we gave them a beverage along with a mask and also for their families. Yeah, so a lot of their family members as well, many of them said, can I have for my mom? Can I please have for my grandmother? Or some of our customers also got for their friends and stuff like that. So we were very fruitful with it and being able to do that. And we were very fortunate to see the need and be able to distribute out.
A lot of people don't know about some of your background over at college, but you have an engineering background.
I am in the process of obtaining my master's in engineering. I worked as a quality engineer for a dental implant manufacturing company for a couple of years. And prior to that, I was a bio major. I graduated from Dominican College, and now I go to NYU for my master's.
Goodness, I'm jealous already because back in 8th grade, I almost failed 8th grade because I didn't get such a great I made it through, but just barely. I'll just put it that way. That's unbelievable. But did you take some of that engineering and planning and just methodical approach background to how you've adjusted your operations over the last 2 to 3 months?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I had to sit back and reevaluate how we were handing out our beverages and what the safest and most efficient way would be for both us, my husband and I, when we work, as well as what's going to be safe for our customers. So with that being said, we adjusted. Now we do not serve without a mask. We do not serve without gloves. And when we do the transaction, whether it's with a credit card or with money, we use a carrier. And in that carrier, that's what we distribute back and forth. We wipe it down in between customers. We wipe down our POS system, as well as changing gloves continuously throughout the day in between customers and guests whenever we make a beverage of that sort. So our customers, and we also rerouted, because our location is very small, very minimal in size, for the safety of us as well as them, we are only doing curbside ordering.
Got it.
And there's two ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's two ways that we do it. Customers are either calling in directly to the coffee shop, or they're texting. And via text, we're able to ask specific questions. What kind of milk would you like? Would you like whipped cream? What size of beverage? Do you want espresso in a frappe or not? So we're able to tackle those questions faster via text than on the phone while we are still getting orders coming in. So that has been very beneficial. And it's actually, many other customers enjoy that process because a lot of them order the same thing. They have their regular. And so it's a quick copy and paste right to the phone, directly to the text. So that has been beneficial.
I noticed that you're creating a bit of a user experience in the digital sense, in that people are texting back and forth. I know that when I come into It's Coffee, and there's usually a line almost out the door, which is great, but it's very conversational. So, either you or Ben or one of the assistants that you have there, they'll be making the coffee, but they'll also be conversing with the clients.
Yeah.
Because you guys care and you want to know about your customers and what they do and such. And are you bringing that conversational style into your text messages? Like, hey, it's Judy, I'd like to order a frap. And you're like,
yes. The one thing that we're passionate about is our customer service and building that sense of relationship with one another. So we do, after a while, they become like family. We know their story, they know our story, and we have that level of communication and understanding, whether it be if we're lacking a single ingredient, whether it be a certain kind of milk or what we do have, we're able to communicate that right away and show them the options that are still available. And when we do, by having the order come in prior to you coming, that leaves us time to still build that communication level.
Right.
So we're able to still go outside and have that, hey, how's the family doing? How's everybody doing? How's this person adjusting to the schoolwork? How's your child doing in college? Or we have many college students that come as well. And they've also been, coming together during this time and lining up the cars. And some of them are sitting on the cars. Some of them are, and they're still doing the social distancing with the proper PPE, such as masks and gloves and things of that sort. So that's definitely rewarding to see our customers still believing in us and pushing for us and supporting us in that way.
Mm-hmm. That's great. I'm looking forward to, I'm hoping a day very soon when I'll be able to drop in person and spend some time with you guys, and especially little Ben, we're talking and everything. And
Oh yeah. He loves being animated. He's so natural with it. We're very blessed with that.
He's a good kid. So it's almost about 9 o'clock. I know you have some customers waiting outside.
Yes. Yeah, I got a few customers.
Hey. Okay, so I'll pop that out there. We had agreed, Nisi and I had agreed that we were just going to show the first half of the footage that we captured. If just as a side note, if you have interest in more about It's Coffee Barista, we'll also be releasing a side video on the North Rockland community, further parts of our conversation, Nisi and myself. And she'll be talking about all the amazing coffees that are out there. I didn't get a chance to play the video part where I asked her for the Cherry Jubilee coffee, but that is my favorite flavor, and there's a whole bunch of other ones. So I'm a little bit of a fan of It's Coffee Barista, but who doesn't love coffee? So just wanted to say that. Okay, so, and we thank Nisi. You know, the thing that really stood out in my mind was how she, you know, all the retailers right now, all the retailers are concerned about how they're going to navigate their business through this crisis, all right? I'm not going to name names, all right? But I will say that I've spoken with, I'd say, a good 24 businesses over the last few weeks, all right? There is a lot of fear out there, all right? And in my opinion, the only way that we can overcome fear, especially at this point, is by having a little bit of faith and a little forward momentum and a positive attitude toward where we're going. I think Nisi is one of the people that has not only their business model right, you heard the engineering background, but also a very faith-based approach where she's seeing the positive aspects of how her business model can serve the community. And the perfect example of that was the masks that were provided to many, many, many different organizations all across Rockland County. So we really thank Nisi for doing that. I had mentioned she's a leader. She's become a leader of the community, and it's really prevalent now. Our next guest is a friend of mine from many years. Let me just add her last name to our dictionary. Jennifer Aherne from the Copper Still, located in Pomona, New York. The Copper Still, I've been, you know, over the years, I've been going there a multitude of times. They have amazing food. And you know, they also have drinks and music sometimes. So it's a really nice place to go to in the past on a Friday and Saturday night, and just it's got that Cheers sort of vibe. Have you ever watched the show Cheers back in the late 80s and early 90s, where you go in and everybody knows your name? That's the sort of vibe that Jennifer and the team at the Copper Still foster. Of course, as mentioned, you know, the Copper Still was also affected by the COVID-19 crisis. They did have to shut their doors for a little while, but good news, they are back up and running, and they are providing curbside delivery services. I was able to speak with Jennifer for a little bit of time, and let's get some of that audio from our phone conversation. I will check on chat to see if everybody can hear it, but here we go. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So how's the Copper Still doing?
It's been amazing. It's doing really well. We opened back up for takeout on April 27th, and it's been better than we ever imagined.
Yeah. Good support from the community, right?
Amazing. Always. They've always been amazing, but you know, just being closed for a while, it gave people a chance to, I guess, just reappreciate us and miss us a little bit, and same with us. And
yeah, totally.
They're just coming in every day excited, and it's really been it's been great.
In the past year, it's been very busy. I haven't had a chance to go over there, but I guess over the course of several years, that was one of the favorite watering holes for me on Friday or Saturday night, especially when the band was playing. And, so there's many good times. Plus, you've always had the Chamber of Commerce there, good food, nice vibes. So always love it over there. Kind of looking forward to it being back the way it was. I mean, everything back the way it was, so that we can actually communicate in person and do all this. But how, in terms of how you guys have been adjusting since you reopened, and any specific things that you've done in order to accommodate the customers throughout the issues that are going on?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we had a meeting, the owners brought us all in, and we had a meeting beforehand to make sure that we were all on the same page and understand the importance of how reopening, even in this modified version, was really important, because the owners are, I mean, you probably know, they're just amazing people, and they're very business smart, but they're also very community driven, and they didn't want any part in, you know, in anyone getting sick or taking any chances. So they really wanted to approach it the right way. And so we had a meeting, we're all on the same page, and, you know, it's very limited contact with the customers, unfortunately, but, you know, we do curbside, we promote the curbside, but people can actually just come to the door with their masks on, keeping their distance. There's, you know, notes posted everywhere, and everybody's been amazing about it. So yeah, I mean, we've kind of mastered this so far.
Yeah.
We'll see how long we have to do it, but we're also really excited to go back to normal too, but whatever it takes to do it right.
Absolutely. Any particular things that people tend to be ordering right now from the Copper Still?
It's really a little bit of everything. I mean, we do the family meals now every day, and those are definitely a big hit. But we have so many regulars and people that just have their certain set meals that they want. They're used to ordering their lunches or their dinners. Some people order a few times a day, like they literally will have their lunch and dinner from Copper Still. So it's really we have almost our full regular menu and the family meals, and it's equally busy on both, and even cocktails to go are a big hit.
Speaking of which, is the Gentini available for delivery?
Not for delivery, but we could deliver it out to your car if you pull up out front.
Okay, I'm seeing curbside pickup.
And that's actually been a big hit, and some of our other specialty drinks like the sangrias and margaritas that people just always love. It's been fun, actually.
Now, what specifically is in a Gentini, just so that we know?
What did you just say? Did you just ask me the recipe?
Well, not the exact recipe, but just like the general ingredients.
Okay, good, because I was going to say, it's our secret recipe.
Just as a side note, I didn't know that it was a trade secret, but apparently it's a big hit, so patent pending.
I say ours now. It used to be my secret recipe, but now I've basically given it to the Copper Still because they deserve it too. They let me shine there, so I have to give them my secret recipe. Anyway, I'm being silly. It's I just tell people it's tropical and pretty strong.
Okay.
But it goes down very smooth, so you don't necessarily know it. So I have to kind of give people a little warning not to get too crazy.
Understood. Okay. So take it in small sips and let the effect take over.
Exactly.
Yep. Makes sense. That's kind of what I do. So, Jen, thanks for checking in. I appreciate it, and may Copper Still for many, many years thrive and serve the North Rockland community. I know you do great work over there, and we look forward to a day, hopefully soon, when everything will be back to the way that it was several months ago.
Yeah, us too. Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care now.
You too.
Okay, so those were my interviews with It's Coffee Barista, Nisi, and Jen. Unfortunately, we couldn't get Jen for a Zoom camera. It was more of a phone interview, but we brought the audio in. Hopefully everyone was able to see it. I should also apologize about one thing on the video for It's Coffee Barista. Apparently Zoom doesn't work very well with fluorescent lighting. So you notice that we were kind of like whitewashed in the video. I think that's just because of the fluorescent lighting, but it could be because of Zoom or video. So my apologies on the quality of the video on my part of my conversation with Nisi. But hopefully the material came through, and so we'll continue to do this as well. I guess I mentioned this about retail. I had said this many, many times within our North Rockland Chamber of Commerce. I've actually gotten into arguments about it. We need retail, all right? And I remember, and again, no names, I had a very heated debate with an individual who's no longer with the Chamber of Commerce, moved on, we wish her well. But it was a question of whether we should focus on just business to business, or should we focus on, small businesses, local retailers, and everything like that. And it is my personal opinion, and I think that the answer is showing up right in front of our faces, unfortunately, over the last few months. We need retail. So it's going to become even more important over the coming months and years for retail, local small businesses to be able to very quickly serve their clientele in a way that's both safe, efficient, but also enjoyable. Gentinis, great coffee, gourmet style services, products, food, all those sort of things. But each one of these businesses will have to rethink their model in order to, over the course of time, serve their audiences, especially in a local community. So this is just the first phase of how businesses are transforming. The obvious things were right in front of our face. Wear a mask. I went into Pizzarina a few days ago, and Brian has transformed his operation. Everyone is wearing masks from the back office, from the back kitchen to the front, to the attendees. The food is brought out to each of the individuals in cars once it's completed. It's basically a contactless transaction. Plastic is put up in front to make sure that there's no transmission of any sort of particulates. It was a well thought out plan. I've had conversations with several other business owners, and many of them weren't even able to make it to this meeting. They wanted to provide information, but thankfully, the communities have been ordering from them a lot. So they're in the kitchen right now, but they have also transformed their establishments, masks, sanitizers. It's just the first step. I perceive that every business is in the process of thinking through how they're going to continue to thrive for their customers. And it means coming down to just a safety first approach and then layering on all those individual products and services in as user-friendly a fashion as possible. So again, so we have Jen and Nisi that was here. We'll probably have a few more retailers, maybe from a different sector of the retail industry on in coming weeks. And that is it for today. I always try to get us back to work as quickly as possible because, we love to work, don't we? Our next Small Business Friday Forum is going to be on Friday, March 15th. Let me just make sure that I got the date right on that because that has been known to happen. Friday, May 15th. Friday, May 15th at 12:30 in the afternoon, and we try to aim between 30 and 45 minutes. Also, another piece, we have some audio from previous Friday forums. Several people have contacted me and asked, are those audio clips available so that they can play them while they're in the car, on their mobile device? And the answer is yes. So we are in the process of loading that audio to a suitable platform. And if anyone has any suggestions for that, I welcome it, but we're going to go with some brand names that are able to deploy this audio so that you can podcast if you're driving in the car or making dinner in the evening or getting a delivery from one of your local restaurants in the area. So that's it for now. I hope this has been useful, enjoyable, and as I always say, and many of us say, we will get through this together, but I'm going to add on that piece that I mentioned before. We're going to have a little faith. It's going to get a lot better. It'll take some time, as all things do that are important, but we will get back to a society where one day we could be a little bit in closer proximity with each other. And, hopefully this will be something that we don't have to do for many years. It's something that we want to, make sure that we're doing the right things, but we certainly enjoy the contact of our fellow human beings so that we can enjoy life a little bit. So that's it for now. You guys take care. Have a good weekend. Take care, Debbie.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Take care.